They marched into the forest as soldiers of Rome and vanished as ghosts. Year 09 AD, 3 entire legions, the 17, 18, and 19, disappeared in the mist of Germania. More than 20,000 men. No bodies, no standards, no graves. It was not just a defeat. It was erasure. The day Rome met an enemy she could not see, could not understand. But what happened to those who survived the massacre? Who were the men Rome forgot, the prisoners of Teutoburg? After years of conquest, Emperor Augustus believed Germania was ready for civilization. The Rhine frontier was fortified, and beyond it stretched a new province, Germania Magna. He sent Publius Quinctilius Varus to govern, a man of law, not war. Varus brought with him 3 legions and the arrogance of empire. To enforce Roman order, he relied on his trusted ally, a young German noble, Arminius, commander of auxiliary cavalry, trained in Rome, fluent in Latin, honored with citizenship. Arminius smiled at banquets, saluted with Roman discipline, and swore in secret to destroy them. He forged alliances among tribes, Carusi, Bructeri, Marsi, and promised them freedom. By late summer 09 AD, Arminius warned Varus of a local uprising. Varus marched east to crush it, into the forest of Teutoburg. Where no road was meant for legions, Varus trusted law and order. Arminius trusted the forest dot, and the forest never betrayed its own. Rain fell like spears. The soil turned to glue. The Roman column stretched 15 miles long, wagons sinking, armor rusting, morale fading. Through the fog, shadows moved between the trees, silent, patient. Then, the first javelin flew. Legions tried to form ranks, but the path was too narrow. Shields jammed between trunks, pillars snapped in branches. Visibility, 10 paces. The forest itself became an enemy. Screams, thunder, steel on wood, chaos without formation. Arminius's tribe struck from every side, vanishing after each attack. By dusk, Varus's men built a camp, but the rain drowned their fires. Wounded men begged for mercy. On the second night, thunder covered the cries of slaughter. By the third day, the eagles were gone. Varus, realizing all was lost, fell on his own sword. The forest swallowed the legions whole. When the rain stopped, silence remained. But some still breathed, and their suffering was only beginning. If you've made it this far, you already feel the weight of Teutoburg. Subscribe to the Rome War series, because what happened after the battle is darker than the battle itself. Those who survived were stripped, chained, and driven through the mud barefoot. They were not soldiers anymore. They were trophies. Tacitus later wrote, "In the groves of the Carusi, human heads hung from trees. Altars smoked with Roman blood. Centurions were nailed to trees. Officers mutilated, their right hands cut off, so they could never fight again. Others were offered to the gods beneath sacred oaks. Thousands were enslaved. Legionaries who once built roads now carried wood and stone for their captors. Children born in bondage spoke German, not Latin. When Roman traders crossed the Rhine decades later, they met gray-haired men branded with eagles on their arms, old slaves who whispered Latin prayers no one else understood. Rome counted them as dead, but some of the dead could still remember the empire's voice. Weeks later, a lone cavalryman reached the Rhine, bleeding, delirious. He carried news that shattered the world. 3 legions gone. When Augustus heard, he tore his robes, beat his head against the wall, and cried, "Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions." He ordered mourning throughout the empire. Temples closed. Music silenced. The people of Rome wore black. For the first time in centuries, Rome felt fear. The Senate whispered, "Was Germania cursed?" Priests blamed the gods. Soldiers blamed arrogance. Augustus fortified the Rhine and forbade further advance east. The dream of a Roman Germania died in the mud. But one man swore vengeance, the emperor's heir, Germanicus. 6 years later, AD 15, Germanicus crossed the Rhine with 6 legions. He did not come to conquer land. He came to collect the dead. In the ruins of old camps, they found scattered bones, white and brittle. Some still in formation, shields beside them. Others alone, as if they had fled. Skulls nailed to trees stared from the mist. Tacitus described it. The bones lay where they fell. And those who found them wept, for comrades they had never known. Germanicus buried them with full honors, recited the names of legions that no longer existed, and recovered 2 of the lost eagles. But one remained missing, the eagle of the 19th. A symbol of vengeance unfulfilled. He had given the dead peace, but the living would carry this shame forever. Rome erased the numbers 17, 18, and 19 from history. No legion would ever bear them again. The forest became taboo. Maps ended at the Rhine. Beyond it, only darkness and memory. Quote Cassius Dio. The forest itself seemed to hate the Romans, its trees closing upon them as if alive. Coins from Augustus's reign still surface near Calcaries today, corroded by rain, marked by fire. Each one whispers the same question: what happened to the men who were taken? Some scholars believe a few reached the East as mercenaries decades later, their Latin names twisted into foreign tongues. Others likely died nameless, their bones feeding the soil of Germania. Teutoburg was not the end of 3 legions. It was the moment Rome realized the empire itself could bleed. If this story stayed with you, don't let it fade into the forest. Subscribe to the Rome War series and continue the journey through the empire's darkest defeats. Because next time, we follow Germanicus into the heart of Germania, where vengeance burned brighter than mercy. Watch Germanicus, the Revenge of Rome, the War for Teutoburg, has only just begun.